Yo, what's up guys? So we're here to showcase off the new Dark Magicians in action, some gameplay of the newer support for Dark Magician as well as Dark Magician Girl in 2019. So a few of the new cards. This one's up against Azneyesreplays, which is basically a combo oriented deck, and you actually have multiple forms of disruption in Dark Magician now, and more consistency with Magician Souls. So we're going to go ahead and see Eternal Soul activated, summoning Dark Magician. This is going to go ahead and proc Dark Magic Circle, which basically disrupts the Azneyesreplays deck quite hard. And in addition to that, you happen to have Magician Souls, which is just going to basically foolish and go ahead and get in a Dark Magician Girl into the graveyard, or Dark Magician. And then with Dark Burning Magic, you're going to be able to consistently utilize this card now, which is a quick play. And if you control Dark Magician, Dark Magician Girl, pop everything that your opponent controls. It's a really dirty card, and you can actually search out this card and activate it during your opponent's turn with the new fusion card, which we're going to go ahead and showcase off now. So that one was kind of like a you couldn't play oriented playstyle. But there's another form of disruption that I do want to go ahead and showcase off in this gameplay over here. So Dark Magician actually has a lot more consistency now, and this is going to be up against Raid Raptors, which is going to go ahead and pull off a ultimate boss monster, aka not necessarily the ultimate Falcon, but we're going to go ahead and go one step above and get the Final Fortress Falcon, which this card is definitely pretty difficult to deal with for some decks. And because Dark Magician doesn't have access really to the extra deck to get rid of this card super fast, you'll see how we're going to get over this card. But we also happen to have the Super Polymerization, because he's going to go ahead and activate Booster Strix, which is going to make it so you can banish this card and then destroy the attacking monster. But we're going to activate Super Poly, and we're going to go ahead and make the new fusion monster, the Dark Magicians, the Ultimate Wizard. And I'm going to go ahead and explain this card really quick, because I didn't actually realize this. When this card activates its effect, it can be during yours and your opponent's turn, and it can be your own effect. So it requires Dark Magician and Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl and another spellcaster monster. And obviously with Super Poly, you can use your opponent's stuff. And then once per turn, if a spell or trap card is activated, you get to draw one card. If you drew a spell or trap, you can set it. And if it's a quick play spell or trap, it can be activated this turn. And then when this card is destroyed, you get to special summon a Dark Magician and a Dark Magician Girl from your hand deck or graveyard. So that's not only going to deck them, but you basically get two relatively strong monsters out. Dark Magician Girl sometimes can actually get a decent amount of attack now, because you have the consistency of some of the newer support cards to actually throw them into the graveyard. Of course, the Souls, which is this card over here. And I'll also give you guys the deck profile of this deck as well, but this card is the card that I wanted to mention, that you can get a decent amount of Dark Magicians potentially in the graveyard. So that can be kind of cool. And sometimes cards will count as Dark Magician. We're going to go ahead and see the Eternal Soul. And this is another one of the newer cards over here. So Magician's Combination over here, which actually has Magical Cinder's artwork in the background. It lets you, when a card or effect is activated, you get to tribute a Dark Magician or a Dark Magician Girl, and then you can just special summon the other one. So if you tribute Dark Magician, go for Dark Magician Girl. You tribute Dark Magician Girl, you go for Dark Magician. And you're actually able to negate the activation of that effect. So you technically have one negate with this. This one can be random. It's kind of a maybe negate, because depending on what you're able to set and activate that turn, because you could set maybe this card, you can go ahead and set the card that pops everything on your opponent's board. You can go for Eternal Soul, which can proc this. So basically, this could be one negate, this is a maybe negate, this is another negate. So maybe we're looking at 3 negations for Dark Magician potentially right now in the game. And it's not a bad card. It definitely fills up the graveyard, just so you can go ahead and cycle through them. I wish it was special summon one from the deck, but more than likely you'll have it in the graveyard with the additional consistency. And this card can get really nasty. If you let this card survive, every single time that it's either player's turn, you're basically going to be able to draw a card. As soon as anything activates, right? You're going to be able to just get an additional free card, and sometimes your opponent just can't deal with the free advantage. Now this card is immune to everything, so we're not going to deal with it yet, but we will eventually deal with it. There's a few cards that this archetype can actually utilize, and Dark Magician Girl technically can have a decent amount of attack. So you gain 300 attack for every Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in the graveyard, and I would say on average you can easily get 2, and a lot of times one of them is still up on the board, so this card will consistently have 2,600 attack points, so that's kind of nice. But whenever, again, the fusion goes away, if you happen to have those 2 zones, you're going to be able to get double monsters out, which then you can go ahead and exceed with. There are still a decent amount of great rank 7s in the game. Obviously, Big Eye is still really good in the game. I mean, it used to be like super meta, but for the most part, like, these cards are free anyways. You can utilize them for material and then go ahead and just bring them right back. And with no monsters left on the field, because Apprentice Illusion is able to boost something up, he's going to go ahead and find the mid game. But the amount of cards and advantage you can get in Dark Magician is pretty insane now. But now that you guys have seen it in action, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the deck profile for this deck, and I want to talk about other cards you guys can definitely utilize in the deck to make great use of the archetype. So, first off, cards that we did not see that I do want to mention that can be quite great in the deck. Future Fusion can actually be insanely good. You have to wait a turn for this to go off, but Dark Magician is not necessarily a deck that is looking to only stun an OTK. It can definitely stun by, like I said, we're looking at 2 to 3 negations at most on average. But if you happen to survive and this card can go off, like you go first, you activate it, your opponent does not OTK you, the following turn you're going to be able to dump all of your different Dark Magicians because you would actually use Quintet as a target. And then if this card is fusion someone using 5 spellcasters with different names, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. And also this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. So basically this card comes out, it's popping everything, and with no monsters left on the field, you guys already know what's going to happen, especially if you're able to foolish like everything in the deck. And if you, like I said, use 5. Effect Failure can be a target. You obviously can go with Apprentice Illusion, you can go Dark Magician Girl, you have Bishop of Souls, you have Rod. Like, you easily have access to 5 with different names in this. You can actually use Shadals. That's actually what I used to do, and it's actually quite good. Another card that can be interesting is Keeper of Draconic Magic. So if this card is normal or special, you get to discard 1 card to add a Polymerization normal spell card or a Fusion normal spell card from your deck to your hand. And then also you can reveal a Fusion monster in your extra deck and special summon one of the Fusion monsters who's specifically listed on that monster from your graveyard face down defense position. So you can discard the Dark Magician and basically resummon it and utilize some of the support cards for, of course, your Dark Magician. So it'd be good access for that. Now, you can only go for Fusions the turn you use it, but it doesn't really matter because that's all you have in the extra deck anyways. And then there's also this card called Palladium Oracle Mana, when your opponent activates a card effect that targets 1 spellcaster you control, which is basically the whole archetype. This card is in your hand as a quick effect. You can special summon this card. You can only use this effect of it once per turn. And level 7 or higher spellcaster monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. And if this card is destroyed in battle by card effect, you can special summon 8 Dark Magician Girl from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So it's just extra attack, and it can be another spellcaster in case you want to run at some light targets for, of course, our boy Blacklist or Soldier. But pretty much everything else, if you guys want to comment down below what else would be good, let me know. But also, shout out to my boy Teriyaki for his variant of this deck profile. But let's go ahead and give you guys the deck profile in case you guys want to try this out. And like I said, if you have any other suggestions or tech cards, we'd love to hear them in the comment section below. But we got 3 of our boy Dark Magician. We got 3 copies of Phantasme. Try to deal with those link boards, get to draw some extra cards. And then we have 3 copies of Apprentice Illusion, 1 copy of Dark Magician Girl. I wish it did give you extra boost for more Dark Magician Girls, but because you can cycle through the cards quite easily, it doesn't really do anything too much. You need more Dark Magician more consistently, I would say, in the hand. And then again, Apprentice Illusion at 3, 1 Dark Magician Girl, and then 3 copies of Magician Rod, which is going to search your cards, and it also has that little effect with this where you can look at the top 3, which is great. Then we have 3 copies of Magician Soul. So this card lets you foolish Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girdle, and then it has another bonus effect where you can send up to 2 spells and traps from your hand or field to the graveyard and draw the same number of cards you sent to the graveyard. So maybe some of the cards you don't need them anymore, you're just trying to go for that maybe RNG OTK, you can definitely utilize this. And then I have Timaeus over here, and then we have the Dark Magic Attack, then we have 3 copies of Indulgence. I would say you do need to go for the extra deck like maybe once in this on average. We do have extra room too, so like I said, Quintet Magician could be a great option as well. Great stuff indeed. And then we've got the Bond Between Teacher and Student. So let's let you go ahead and search out one of the set cards. I wish this card again was a set card, because then you could set up much easier with this card. And we have Duality, because sometimes you just go for a Rod and then go for a Duality play and you pass it to your opponent, and then you're going to special summon on their turn, and then you're going to go ahead and Dark Magic Circle them, or you can actually Magician's Combination them in addition with this, and then you're looking at, like I said, 2 negates, maybe 3 negates with this, especially if you can go ahead and Dark Burning Magic on your opponent's turn. It could be really dirty. And this is the card where you get to go ahead and search out a card that lists Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl. And then you have Super Poly, then Illusion Magic over here, 1 copy of Dark Burning, 1 Super Poly also. I don't know, I feel like you could probably make some great use of this if you decided to play some other cards in the extra deck. And at that point, maybe you can drop Indulgence. And then we've got the 3 copies of Magic Circle, 3 copies of Magician Navigation. This really lets you just go through your cards a lot faster. And then it has this other effect where you can banish it and then target a face-up spell and trap and negate it. And then we have Eternal Soul at 3 and 2 copies of the combination, which basically can disrupt your opponent, so it's another negation, and you can dodge. If they like try to target your Dark Magician, you get to basically dodge and then basically negate something else, so it can be quite good. And for the extra deck, basically Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, and then we have Amulet Dragon, and the Dark Magicians, the Ultimate Wizards, and 3 copies of Stark Event for your Super Poly. But I think that there's 2 extra room slots if you guys want to go ahead and throw in maybe like a Phoenix, a Cerberus, you know, just the basic generic go-to cards. But if there's anything else that I missed out on that would have been really good, let me know in the comment section below. But shouts once again to my boy Teriyaki for hooking me up with the early plays, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell so you know make so no monsters left on the field. Go for game, man, easy. If you guys want to send me any replays or other builds of Dark Magician, I would love to see them because I do want to make a quintet build with this. I mean, I feel like really what it comes down to is being able to consistently get out your stuff for Dark Magician can be quite good, but I don't know if I would consider it tier 1 right now. Where is, you know what we need, Konami? We need a Dark Magician Link Monster, and we need a Blue Eyes Link Monster. I think that's really what we need. But anyways, I mean, for this archetype, I mean, could you guys imagine having like double of these? That'd be absolutely insane. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. I'm signing out. Peace.